physicsinfo.co.uk, another in the series of Physics GCSE tutorials. Combined Science. Topic 9, Forces. Topic 9 is a continuation of Topic 2, Motion and Forces, and is best viewed in conjunction with the original video. Objects in some fields can experience a force. Because there is no physical contact, these are called non-contact forces. There are three you should know. The first one is gravitational force. Second non-contact force is electrostatic, and this is the attraction or repulsion between. And the final non-contact force is magnetism. Again, like poles repel, unlike poles. We also need to know about contact forces. This is where there's a physical connection between two or more surfaces. The first we're going to look at is the normal contact force. A normal contact force is one that's at 90 degrees to the surface. So, for instance, in this picture, it will be perpendicular to the sled. The second force is friction, which we looked at quite extensively in Topic 2. Lubrication is covered extensively in Topic 2. This animation just shows how friction between two surfaces can cause an object to heat up. As we've said many times before, by definition, vectors have magnitude and direction, and because they have these qualities, they can be added together. Vectors can be represented by arrows, and these can show the size and the direction. One arrow can be tagged onto the end of a previous arrow, giving a resultant. Here's an example. The first arrow goes up 7 squares and across 2 squares to the right. This second arrow goes down 2 squares and across 4 squares to the right. We now resolve the vectors by adding the second arrow to the first arrow and come up with a solution or resultant arrow which goes up 5 squares and across 6 squares to the right. You can imagine knowing direction and the angle might be very important in a vector question. Here's an example of vector addition. A man leaves his house, he takes 6 paces forward, he turns right and takes 4 paces. He turns right again and takes another 4 paces. He turns left, takes 3 paces, he turns right and takes another 2 paces. Looking at each step individually, he starts by taking 6 paces forward. He turns right and takes 4 paces. He turns right again and takes another 4 paces. He turns left and takes 3 paces. He turns right and takes 2 paces. So the scalar distance he's travelled is 6 plus 4 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2, a total of 19 paces. But the vector displacement, shown by the red line, is 7 paces to the right. Direction is important. Yet another example, this time a group of students playing tug of war. Group A are pulling to the left with a force of 800 newtons, represented by a line 8 squares to the left. Group B are pulling to the right with a force of 600 newtons, and this time the line is 6 squares to the right. These are both vectors, so we can put them both onto the diagram and add them together. So we have a force arrow of 800 newtons to the left, another one of 600 newtons to the right, leaving a balance of 200 newtons to the left. And of course, because these forces are unbalanced, all the students will accelerate to the left. Looking at free body forces, unlike Newton's third law pairs, which act on different bodies, the forces in a free body force diagram all act on one body. For example, the aeroplane has 4 forces: thrust, drag, lift, and weight. If the thrust is greater than the drag, the plane will accelerate forwards, because unbalanced forces result in acceleration. If the lift is greater than the weight, then the plane will accelerate upwards. And if all the forces are equal, the plane will continue at constant velocity. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to watch the Topic 2 video as well.